Hey, greetings. Michael here. Today we're going to go through the first commandment. People don't talk about the first commandment very much. We talk about not taking the name of the Lord in vain. We don't even know what that means. We will in a few weeks, but we're doing the first commandment today. It starts like this. And Elohim spoke all these words saying, Elohim, Elohim. We're going to find out what that means today. This is the word Elohim. There's different forms, Elohi, Elohim, Elohe, all referring for the most part to Yehovah when we're talking about thy Elohim. We're going to see today, however, that Elohim can be lawmakers and judges of the earth, which is where and who and whom most people follow. It starts like this. I am Yehovah, thy, it's actually thy, here, let me go down here, thy, here we are, thy Elohika, Elohika. It ends with a kaf. The kaf says thee, thy Elohim, thee, thy, thou. All first person singular, or second person singular. I am. It says, Anoki Yehovah. I am Yehovah. He's making his position known. He is thy Elohi, Elohika. He continues, who brought thee out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. Here is brought thee out. Notice it ends with a final cough as well. It ends with the thee. He brought thee out. Who is thee? Let me say before we go to the next verse, I want to show you what thee is. The cough, thee, second person masculine, singular. Thee is the man. Each man singularly. When these commandments are given, we can read these as if they are given to each spiritually born Ezra man who has declared that Yehovah is his Elohim by making covenant with him at Passover. We're going to see in a moment how many people were up on the mountain at this moment when Yehovah is speaking his commandments. But beyond just a single man, Israel and the Ezra, who are the spiritually born, often they're called the born in the land man, the natural man, spiritually born man, born in the land man. That seems to be the ones that most are translated that way, but it's Ezra. They're Ezra. They can be both singular and plural. So this particular thee, because we're talking about Israel, can be singular or plural, and we have to look at it in those ways. I put thee as a man, each man singularly, and Israel as a group. It's both. Who he is about to give his commandments to. Keep in mind, remember we're talking about he, plural, singular. Here we're talking about when we were leaving, getting ready to leave. Moses was told by Yehovah to speak to Pharaoh. Then thou shalt say to Pharaoh, thus says Yehovah, my son. My son. That can be plural. That can be singular. My firstborn. Plural or singular. Is Israel. He's the Elohim of Israel. He's not the Elohim of anybody else. The Babylonians, no. The Egyptians, no. The Americans, no. We've got to come into covenant with Yehovah and become his. My son, my firstborn is Israel. So I say to thee, we don't need to finish that. I just wanted you to see Israel. Let's go to the next thing that I wanted to show you. This is Exodus 18. This is, we're already in the wilderness. We've had our Passover. We've come out of Egypt. And now here is Jethro, Moses' wife, Zipporah's father, coming to meet him in the wilderness. He's the prince of Midian, or at least a prince of Midian. Doesn't matter at this point. He says this, and Moses told his father-in-law all that Yehovah, notice, we've got to learn to read correctly. When we have a capital L-O-R-D, it's Yehovah that's being covered up. If we have a capital G, capital O, capital D, that is Yehovah being covered up. I hate the word the Lord. We don't know what we're talking about. We've got to be more discerning in how we talk. Here it says, and Moses told his father-in-law all that Yehovah had done to Pharaoh, to the Egyptians, for Israel's sake. My firstborn. All the hardship that had come upon them on the way, and how Yehovah had delivered them. Then Jethro rejoiced for all the good, which Yehovah had done for Israel, whom he had delivered out of the hands of the Egyptians. And Jethro said, blessed be Yehovah, who has delivered you out of the hands of the Egyptians and out of the hand of Pharaoh, and who has delivered the people from under the hand of the Egyptians. A little bit redundant. Now look at this. Now I know that Yehovah is greater than all the Elohim. The Elohim. Who are we talking about? Isn't he Elohim? No, he's not Elohim that we're talking about here. I know that Yehovah, you could say it like this, thy Elohim is greater than all the Elohim. Oh, so interesting. Look, now I know that Yehovah is greater than all the Elohim. This has got the definite article with it. The hey, this is it right here. Definite article. It says the Elohim. What is an Elohim? Let me finish one more verse and we're going to go to it, okay? Yeah, we're going to finish this verse and one more. And we're going to come back to this, and then we're going to look at what an Elohim is. We don't know. We just don't know. Oh, well, that's God. That's the Creator. Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done. Or no, hallowed is thy name. What's his name? We don't even know. We just call him God. We go to court, we swear, so help me God. What God are we swearing in the name of? I'll bet you it's not Yehovah. You might think it is. But that's not what they're playing. You've been had. I know that Yehovah is greater than all the Elohim. The hand of the Egyptians, the hand of Pharaoh, all the Elohim. For in the very thing that they behaved proudly, he was above them. Then Jethro, Moses' father-in-law, took Olah. It's a burnt offering. It's going to be burned up fully. And Zabek. These are cows, sheep, goats that Israel is going to eat. That's what a Zabek is. It's a slaughter. They put sacrifices. It's a slaughter. It's something that we eat. To Elohim. That's slaughtered to Elohim. You know, most of your meat in the store is not slaughtered to Elohim. It's slaughtered to Allah. Or the Elohim of the people who own all these butchers. Probably the deep state. And we know who their Elohim is. And Aaron came with all the elders, all Israel's elders. These are men, heads of the tribes and heads of large families, to eat bread with Moses' father-in-law before, look what it says, before God. This says, before the Elohim. You know, so many places when we're talking about the Elohim, the Creator, on the mountain, he's often referred to as the Elohim on the mountain with a definite article. But Elohim, what is an Elohim? That's what we've got to find out. Let me go back here. We're going to go to Ancient Hebrew Lexicon of the Bible. Whoops. Oh, I'm not on it. There it is right here. All right. Look what it says. Remember, Elohim is El. Elohim is a plural El. What is a plural? We're going to find out. First, we got to understand what an L is. The Aleph, here's L, Aleph, Lamed, and L. The pictograph Aleph is a picture of an ox head and also represents its strength. The Lamed is a picture of a shepherd's staff and also represents the authority of the shepherd. Combine these two pictographs mean the strong authority. This is what Elohim is. He's Israel's strong authority. Let me continue. Here is El, one who holds authority over others, such as judges, chiefs, and gods. Elohim. Lawmakers and judges are Elohim. Who is your Elohim? Who do you get permission to drive? Who do you get permission from to marry? Who do you get permission from to hunt, own a business, even work? Not Yehovah. You don't need their permission if you're doing it under Yehovah's authority. Did you know that the marriage covenant, you can write out a marriage covenant, it is valid in every state in the union. And when you get a marriage covenant instead of a marriage license, they don't have authority over your children. Think about the marriage vows. And now, by the authority vested in me by the state of California, by the state of Illinois, by the state of North Carolina, I now pronounce you man and wife. You don't know it, but you just married the state. And the state is the head over your marriage. And you have a covenant with them. You requested it when you got your marriage license signed and filled out. Oh my. Here's another part. Power. This is Eloha. The power or might of one who rules or teaches. One who yokes with another, often applied to rulers or Elohim. This is what we're talking about. We have our first commandment. We haven't even talked about what the first commandment is. We're just getting into what Elohim is. But it's deeper than this. This is some definitions of El, of the origins of El, strong authority, and Eloah, again, one who yokes with another. Who are you yoked with? We are yoked with the world. We do it with our driver's license. We do it with our birth certificates. We do it with all kinds of things. You apply for a license. You're yoking yourself with the Elohim of this world. Look at this. I want to go to uh, 12. And we're going to talk about the Hebrew plural. Very interesting. You see the application of the Hebrew plural oftentimes in the scriptures. It says nouns are made plural by adding the suffix im or ot. Generally, the im is used for masculine nouns and the ot for feminine nouns. In some cases, masculine words, usually very ancient words, will use the ot suffix. The Hebrew word av or or, meaning light, become avot and arot in the plural. In all modern languages, this is very important, don't miss this. In all modern languages, the plural is always quantitative. Well, in the ancient Hebrew, a plural can be quantitative or qualitative. For instance, the word tree refers to more than one tree, quantitative. Well, in the Hebrew, the plural word etzim can mean more than one tree, quantitative, or one very large tree, qualitative. Or an example of this is the word Elohim. Behemoth. Or usually translated as behemoth. In Job 40:15, this word is the plural form of the singular behemoth. It ends with the ot, behemoth, which meaning beast, but refers to a very large beast rather than more than one beast. One of the most common uses of the qualitative plural is the word Elohim, which can be translated as God's, quantitative, or as God, qualitative. Again, I took God out of my vocabulary. I don't want it. I don't talk about it. I don't use it. We're talking about it today because we have to. That is an Elohim. So when we're talking about the gods here, when we're talking about Jethro, we're talking about Ha Elohim, the gods. Well, that's not qualitative, that's quantitative. Because the Elohim of Egypt were the Egyptians and the Pharaoh. You see how this is coming down? Who makes the laws for your life? For most, it's the state. We get a driver's license. Why? Well, aren't we supposed to? You know, a lot of times we're not choosing to disregard Yehovah. I know that. But we do it by consent. I had another word on the tip of my mind just a moment ago. It'll come back to me probably. We do it without knowing that we're doing it. We just do it because everybody else does it. And we give our consent without knowing we're giving our consent. You know, even the Declaration of Independence, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just power from the consent of the governed. Who do you give your consent to? Yehovah or the state? That's capital S, capital T, capital A. S-T-A-T-E, capital E. That's not Yehovah. We do it without knowing that we're doing it. We just do what everybody else does, and they love it. But I chose in 2000 to follow only the Elohim. I didn't vote anymore. I still don't vote. I serve Yehovah. You know, there's some things I can't do just because I'm hunting. Do I want to cause a fight with the warden? I can win it, but it ain't worth it. Just too much trouble. I don't have a state driver's license. I drive on an ecclesiastical driver's license. Never had a problem. Been pulled over a few times. Have a nice day, Mr. DDA. Drive carefully. Why don't they give me a ticket? I don't have their numbers. I'm not theirs. I don't have a covenant. Whom do you serve? Let's go to the next portion here. This is Exodus. Come on. Exodus 12:37. It says, then Israel's seed, B'nai Israel. These are spiritually born men. The men who ate the Passover are now coming out of the land of Egypt. What did he just say? I am Yehovah who brought you out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. Who do you bring out? 600,000 Gebarim. They say men. It's Gebarim. They're men. A Gebarim is a man. But these men came out 600,000 strong, besides children, besides stuff. And a mixed multitude went with them, Israel. You know what's interesting? Where are the ladies? I know where they are. Bone of their bone, flesh of their flesh. They are them. They are their man. They don't exist anymore. They're him. Oh, you'll see this over and over in the scriptures. The ladies aren't counted. Wait till we get to the fourth commandment. You'll see it again. Fifth commandment's interesting too. 600,000 men. That's who's on the mountain right now. Israel, the ones that Moses told 3 days prior to going up to the mountain, don't go near a woman. There are no women on the mountain. The commandments are given to the Ezra men, spiritually born men called Israel. Next verse. Here, this is kind of a side note, but this is Genesis. It says this is the genealogy. Whoops, let's do this. This is the genealogy of Noah. Noah was a just man, a holy, Holy, righteous man is really what it says. He was a holy, righteous man. Noah walked with Elohim. He didn't walk with the Elohim of the land. Look at this. Oh, that's not the one I want. Oh, here it is. No. Oh, what did I do with it? Bear with me for just a second. I'm looking for, I searched for this earlier today. It's not there anymore. I'm looking for Samuel. I think it was Samuel 8. Let's go to Samuel 8. Oh, you know what? Before we do that, let's go to, and probably that's where I'm going to find the link that I was looking for. Let's go to the commandment now that we know what an Elohim is. I am Yehovah, thy Elohim, who brought you out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. Remember, where the men go, their women go. Where the men go, their families go. The Ger dwell with them. That's the mixed heads of families we talked about last week. They dwell with Israel. And Israel teaches them Yehovah's commandments, statutes, and judgments. And at Passover, the Ger can get circumcised and they can become Israel. Here it says, you shall have, thou shall have no other Elohim existing before my face. No other Elohim. Yeah, there's the one I was looking for. It was Samuel 8. Israel doesn't get permission from, ask for licenses to any other Elohim. They serve Yehovah. There's freedom in Yehovah's kingdom. We don't need licenses. We don't need permission to get married. We just take the woman and she becomes us. Well, this says, you shall have no other Elohim but me. Worked pretty well for a while. Made it through most of Samuel, all of Joshua and Judges. But in Samuel, the people were getting antsy. Look at what they said. And the elders of Israel gathered together and came to Samuel at Ramah and said to him, look, you are old. You're looking ahead. And your sons do not walk in your ways. Valid points. Now make us a king to judge us like the nations. How long was it before they said, you shall have no other Elohim existing before my face? Now they're asking for a new Elohim. And he warned them about what things would do. But look at what it says here. It says, but the thing displeased Samuel when they said, give us a king. So Samuel prayed to Yehovah, and Yehovah said to Samuel, heed to the voice of the people in all that they say to thee, for they have not rejected thee. Remember, Samuel was Yehovah's almost head person between the people and Yehovah, speaking for him, kind of like the high priest was. Well, he was a high priest. Rejected me, for they have not rejected thee, but they have rejected me. Talking about Yehovah, that I should not reign over them. They wanted other Elohim to reign over them. Yeah, Yehovah gave him a king. Was that Yehovah's best plan? Not at all. They got a king, Saul. Mediocre king. Then David. Good king. But after that, it went downhill big time. Look what Yahovah says. This is in Ezekiel. This one here, 5. He says, you are an adulterous wife who takes strangers instead of her husband. He's talking to Israel. Israel's sons, the spiritually born sons, are his wife. You know, we have so much things. Oh, Jesus, we're going to marry Jesus. No, you've learned lies. They're faking you out. They're turning the way. They're giving you a golden calf instead of encouraging you to follow Yahovah only. He's the modern day golden calf. But look here, you are an adulterous wife. They were Yahovah's people, supposed to be following only him. But they followed the Egyptians, the Syrians, the Babylonians. And he said they were adulterous who take strangers, Zor, instead of her husband. Her man is actually what it says, her man. Here it is, her man. Ish, with the her after it. Her man. That's what a husband is. There's no word in Torah for husband. It's her man. Or her Adon. Or her Baal. Proverbs 31 talks about her Baal is greatly pleased with her, her master. Men, Israel serves Yahovah. Israel's women serve their men. This is what we teach our daughters, to serve their man. There's always a woman has a covering in Israel. This is why if you have a widow or an orphan, Israel takes them in. It's their widows, their orphans. They're related. They have the responsibility. But here they're adulterous. Look at this. For as a young man marries a virgin, so shall thy sons marry thee. Talking about Yahovah marrying thee. And as the bridegroom rejoices over the bride, so shall thy Elohim rejoice over thee. Do you see how it fits together? He is our only Elohim. A woman who's working and taking another Elohim is an adulterous woman. It says wife, but it's woman. There is no word for wife in Torah. No, it's woman. His woman. But it gets worse. These are people who were his that turned away. This is why we got kicked out of Israel. Now we're out of Israel. Look what it says here. This is where we're going to close with. Well, maybe we'll have one more. Yeah, we'll do this one. It says, come down, speaking to Israel, come down and sit in the dust, O virgin daughter of Babylon. Look at that. Virgin daughter of Babylon. Remember, we're talking about men. It says daughter because we're taking other Elohim just like we did when we were committing harlotry in the last verse. Oh, virgin daughter of Babylon, you've never been Yahovah's. You've always been Babylon's. No. He says, sit on the ground without a phone. Oh, daughter of the Chaldeans, you're not mine. For you shall no more be called tender and delicate. Take the millstone, grind meal, remove your veil, take off your skirt, uncover your thigh, pass through the waters, the rivers. This is what we do. We pass through the rivers. The world. Your nakedness shall be uncovered. Yes, your shame shall be seen. I will take vengeance, and I will not arbitrate with an Adam. This is an Adam. This is a man. This is a firstborn man. Remember, you got to be born twice. First time is into some kingdom of the world through your mother. The second time is in the Passover. This is what Jesus was talking about when he talked to Nicodemus. Are you a teacher of Israel and you don't know these things? Why don't you know these things? The born-again experience is not in the New Testament, folks. It's in the Torah. It's in Passover. That's why Yeshua was teaching it on Passover. Okay, last verse. Here we are. It says, O virgin daughter of Abraham, sit on the ground without a throne. O daughter of the Chaldeans. Now look what it says in 52. Did I get the right one? No, I didn't. Stayed on that one. Here we are. 52. He says, awake! Awake! Put on your strength, O Zion! Zion is Jehovah's spiritually born men. Oh, Yerushalayim, the holy city, all talking about Israel. Oh, Zion, put on your beautiful garments. Put on your strength, oh Zion, put on your beautiful garments. Oh, Yerushalayim, the holy city, for the uncircumcised and the unclean shall no longer come to you. Shake yourself from the dust. Sit down, oh Jerusalem, sit down. It says, remember, he says, get off your throne. Now he's saying, sit down on your throne. Loose yourself from the bonds of your neck, O captive daughter of Zion. For thus says Jehovah, you sold yourselves for nothing, and you shall be redeemed without money. This is the good news of the man who's on the mountain. Here it is. How beautiful upon the mountain are the feet of him who brings good news, who proclaims peace, who brings glad tidings of good things. Oh, I'm getting chills. Who proclaims salvation, who says to Zion, your Elohim reigns. No one else. I think I had one more verse. Nope, we're going to stop there. Folks, I hope that you will grab, you may have to listen to this more than once. There's important information here. We're moving about quite a bit, but it's line upon line, precept upon precept, here a little, there a little. This is how we find the message. This is how we move ahead. Knowledge goes to understanding, and understanding brings forth wisdom. I want to give you some knowledge so that you can begin to progress ahead. Israel's Elohim is the Elohim of Israel. Nobody else. No matter what you've been told, you can become Israel some other way besides Passover? No, it's impossible. You're learning lies. Don't fall for it. All right, I'm going to stop here. You guys, thank you for joining me. We're going to talk about idols next time. Oh, very interesting. All right, catch you later. Bye now.